Attention, please.
This uploading is only for educational purpose.
No intention to infringe copyrights.
Learning English with subtitles GPITRAL.
Follow us.
What happened? We're on our own. We'll do it your way.
Back in his London clothes, Jimmy comes up on deck.
No, only as much as they can carry, okay?
I thought it was just you and me, Starkey.
Then you tell them yourself. There's not a man here who doesn't want to visit home.
What if the Indians take the ship while we're gone? We'll have nothing to come back to. Look, once we have control of Flood's London orb, we can come back and forth as we please. Everyone will have their turn, including you, Mr. Smee.
I'm not staying.
And I'm not leaving anyone else in charge.
Oh, Lee.
Look, I'll bring you back a little treat, okay? A nice bottle of rum bouillon, perhaps.
And a Nichols cake.
A whole sack.
You're on.
But I'm not going alone, Hook. Pensé que sia stupido. You might know what we will find there. I do not.
Half a dozen men only, you understand? I don't care how you choose them, Starkey, but any more will be too conspicuous.
Va bene.
Starkey has a glint in his eye. Tootles unsightly sit eating near the cliff edge.
Hear that? Hear what? That.
The suspicious Slightly starts walking, followed by Tootles. They hold on to each other, looking scared. An Indian appears suddenly. Back at their camp, the chief says you cannot trust anything Peter says, daughter. Aya asks, but what if he's telling the truth? A group of tribesmen returns with the 5 boys.
What is Peter doing?
Untie them, she says.
We won't hurt you. You are our friends, but I need to know what Peter is planning.
Not a word, Toots.
He came to me a short time ago, told me that the pirates are planning to bring an army from your world. Listen, if Peter is telling the truth, we are all in terrible danger.
He went to find the orb. Or to get us all home, that's all I know.
Where?
The caves. On Bull Island.
2 small boats carry the pirates and Jimmy across the water towards Bull Island. The horn-shaped peaks tower high above everything else. Later, Aya addresses her tribe in a hut. I believe Peter is telling the truth. The chief adds we must close the mountain pass for good. Aya says if Peter is right, closing the pass won't help us. They'll crush us with their modern weapons. The men and women ask what weapons. Aya looks at Curly, who walks forward holding his hand on the bear tooth hanging from his neck.
Jimmy used to work in the arms trade. He's got a mate in the Watch Arsenal who can get anything for a price. Grenades. Even poison gas.
What is this?
It's spread by the wind. Won't even see it coming. It'll choke you to death before you know it's there.
Daytime. Near the water's edge, the Kaw men and women load their canoes with weapons under the holy man's instruction. The boys from London sprint up to the holy man.
We don't take children.
We can look after ourselves.
You'll get in the way.
Well, then I don't need this.
Curly holds the bear tooth out in front of the holy man. Young Xiao says, I'll take them. The holy man pushes Curly's hand away with his staff.
Very well.
Curly says thank you to Xiao in the Kaw language. Jimmy leads Starkey and the 6 other pirates through some long grass. The Indians and the boys paddle hard across the water in their painted wooden canoes. Meanwhile, Jimmy and the pirates have reached the cave entrance. Jimmy stands there as the others go in. Peter and Tinkerbell watch them from the sky and he nods to her. In his long coat and bowler hat, Jimmy has one last look around before following the others into the cave. On deck, the bearded Smee frowns, getting to his feet. Walking forward, he looks increasingly worried.
Bloody hell.
The Indians head for the ship.
All hands on deck! Man the cannon!
Jimmy and the pirates walk through the cave, casting a large shadow in front of them.
Watch your step.
Leading the group, Jimmy turns around, then continues walking. Peter and Tinkerbell fly in. Peter sees them walk in the direction of a hole through which bright light pours in. Balls hit the water near the caw canoes. The impact causes some of them to capsize. Jimmy and the pirates walk along a ridge covered in stalagmites and stalactites next to a rushing waterfall. Starkey peers down at the huge drop.
Oh, dear. I don't like the look of this.
From their ship, the pirates fire their cannons and shoot their pistols at the caw canoes. An Indian is thrown out of one of the canoes. The boys use all their strength to paddle forward. Another cannonball hits the water, tipping over the boys' boat. The holy man sees this. The boys start swimming. Curly looks around and shouts. Twins is sinking. Holding his breath, Curly dives under the surface. Curly grabs his young friend, pulling him upwards back above water. In the cave, Peter and Tinkerbell watch Jimmy and the pirates reach a round platform covered in dark, jagged stalagmites. Jimmy slices across one of the black spikes with his dagger. With Starkey keeping a keen eye on proceedings, Jimmy pulls off a part of the rock with his hands. Jimmy puts the dislodged piece of rock onto the ground.
All we have to do is wait until they've gone and the orb will be ours.
Jimmy taps the orb that sits inside the rock with his dagger and it lights up, displaying some stars in space. With a mischievous smirk, Jimmy turns to Starkey.
Are you ready?
I'm sorry, Tink. I can't let this happen.
What? Jimmy draws back his sword, preparing to strike the orb. Peter flies in and kicks him. Jimmy drops the dagger and Starkey falls over the edge but manages to hang on. Peter grabs the dagger.
You've interfered one time too many.
They duel in amongst the stalagmites. In the struggle, Peter elbows Jimmy in the mouth. Jimmy's blade hits one of the spikes and Peter blocks more of his vicious attacks. Peter floats back over the edge. Jimmy lunges forward and wobbles, perilously close to falling. Peter smiles as Jimmy can't reach him with his swipes. A pirate pulls Starkey up. Peter flies over Jimmy and the duel continues, with the youngster going on the attack. Starkey is back on his feet and takes a large gun from another pirate. Starkey shoots, the bullet rebounds off a stalagmite and Jimmy clutches his eye. They all watch Peter fly off through the cave. Meanwhile, the Indians are climbing onto the pirate ship. They fight with the pirates and the chief knocks two of them down. beats away 2 tribesmen before fighting with the Holy Man. The Indian blocks his sword attack using his staff, but Smee punches him in the face. The Holy Man retaliates, knocking Smee over.
They're long gone. We're too late, Indian. And when they get back, we're all dead.
Soaking wet, the boys and some of the Indians reach the shore. Curly has his arm around twins. Aya is there too. She turns around and sees the Holy Man waving at her from on board the boat. He does a signal with his hands and she does one back.
Hook's not on the ship! They're already in the caves! Look for tracks!
She runs off, followed by the boys. Back in the cave, Jimmy looks up, trying to find Peter. Numerous stalactites hang menacingly from the ceiling.
Where are you, you little rat?
The pirates look around, but Peter flies past behind them. Starkey turns back to the orb.
We're wasting time. Let them fight on in the streets of London.
Peter kicks Starkey away, then flies off. A pirate shoots but misses. Jimmy gestures for them to hold fire.
Where has he gone?
Over there.
Peter flies along and the pirates all shoot at him. The orb glows as the cave starts to shake.
Hold your fire! The cave's not safe!
Come on, Hook. Let's leave him and go!
Not until we've dealt with Peter. Otherwise we leave the orb in his hands.
The tracks lead this way! Hurry!
Jimmy's eyes scan the cave ceiling. Peter hides behind them with his head peeking up above the platform. Now Peter starts to creep up behind Jimmy. He makes a grab for the orb. Jimmy turns around, striking out with his sword. They begin to duel again.
It looks like they went this way!
Hold your fire! He's mine!
Peter hovers in the air over Jimmy as they block each other's blows. Jimmy pushes Peter's dagger away and Starkey lassos his foot.
Hold him still!
Tinkerbell flies at Jimmy.
Take it out of there!
Starkey struggles to keep hold of Peter. A bearded pirate throws his hat over Tinkerbell, catching her. Jimmy stamps on the hat.
Vermin.
Now Jimmy helps Starkey pull Peter up on the rope.
Here he comes.
Instead, they pull up a dark clump of rock. Jimmy pulls out his sword.
Hide! Hide!
Aya, Shial and the boys throw rocks at the pirates as they shoot back. Some of the boys use catapults. Aya fires a stone at a pirate, knocking him off. Starkey shoots and Peter lifts the pirate's hat to check on the stricken Tinkerbell. She lies there not moving. Jimmy spots Peter.